You know, Herb?
Yes, Don?
I'm turning over a new flipper.
Really?
No more talking about the weather.
Whether you like it or not.
Right. I've got a lot on my mind.
Really?
I've got a lot to say.
Uh-huh.
I've got something I want to get out there.
Well, get it out there.
I want to talk about social issues and politics, and I've got something to say.
All right, then say it.
It's freezing. Looks like snow.
How about if I turn on Beakman? He gives us something to talk about.
Fact! Spiders can actually play possum. They pretend to be dead to fool their enemies. But possums can't play spider.
Hi, baby. Goodbye. Goodbye.
I'm Beakman, and you've just broken into Beakman's world.
Don't believe it. Lester, you're actually looking something up in a book?
Phoebe, books are invaluable resources. Yeah, there's nothing like Webster's Unabridged Dictionary for drying your jerky.
Ugh.
I just tidied up the attic in my brain. Clutter it with a question, Phoebe.
I am all over it. Josie Green of Hampton, Virginia. Okay, Josie Green of Hampton, Virginia writes, do camels store water in their humps?
Ooh, that's quite a question. In fact, it's a hump-dinger.
Maybe we can spit out an answer.
So the waitress says to the camel, how do you like your coffee? One hump or two?
You know where to buy a used camel? At a Camelot.
The jokes told on this show are the exclusive property of Beakman and Phoebe and in no way reflect the comic taste and vision of Lester the Rat. This message not applicable in Guam and American Samoa. Void where prohibited by law.
Thank you, Lester. And now, let's get the jump on the beast with the hump. The camel, ship of the desert, humped workhorse of the Middle East. Camels can travel great distances across hot, dry sands with little food or water. They can easily carry 300-pound loads for 8 hours at a time.
Millions of Africans and Asians depend on the camel. On lands bordering the deserts, camels turn wheels to irrigate fields, pull plows, and carry grain to market. For desert peoples, the camel is almost the only source of food, clothing, transportation, and shelter. People drink camel's milk, eat camel meat, weave its fur into clothes and blankets, and even make tents out of it.
I'm proud of you, Lester. Why, I had no idea he knew so much about camels.
Well, you see, that's because you know me merely as a simple man living in a fixer-upper rat suit. But to my international fans, I am known as Lester of Arabia. Come with me to the Kasaba.
That's Casbah, Lester. Wow. Who's your friend?
Beaky, I'd like you to meet my fiancée, Cindy.
Fiancé? Lester, I thought you were engaged to Rhonda the cow.
That honeymoon is over. I milked the relationship for all it was worth. I don't know what a beef was. One day, she just put me out to pasture. The whole thing was an utter disaster.
And then you met Cindy.
Right. And I've never been happier.
Perhaps you'd like to tell our viewers what kind of camel Cindy is.
A warm, loving, and supportive one.
I wanted you to explain that the one-humped camel is called the Arabian camel, or dromedary. When you jump up a hump, and only two will do, put yourself behind the wheel of this baby, the Bactrian camel.
Those are the ones that spit. I love them.
My theory, the Bactrian camel spits because it has an overactive pituitary gland.
No, Lester. That's very wrong, and it's also very disgusting. Camels spit to show they don't like something or someone.
And get this. Since they can't waste any of their precious water by spitting saliva, they spit up food and stomach acid instead.
Ooh, sweet.
And speaking of freshments and refreshments,
Many people think a camel stores water in its hump. But this Humpty is no dumpty for H2O.
camels don't store water in their humps at all.
The hump is mainly like Lester.
A huge lump of fat.
Bada bingo! And the hump of a healthy camel can weigh
80 pounds.
Ooh, baby.
The fat in the hump provides stored energy for the camel out in the desert, where food isn't always available. And get this! Since fat has so many hydrogen atoms in it, a camel can combine those hydrogen atoms with oxygen from the air it breathes to make H2O, or water.
So that's why my little humpkin here can go days or even weeks without a drink.
right. But when she does get thirsty, look out. She can drink as much as 53 gallons.
Oh, that's 440 pounds of water in a day.
Unbelievable! So, Josie Green of Hampton, VA.
Here's our message about camels for today. Camels don't store water in their humps, so don't bother with straws and put away the pumps.
Well, Lester, it certainly was very nice to meet Cindy. And I do hope the two of you will be very happy together. I can't wait to see the wedding pictures.
Coming up next, we look at sore throats strep by strep. Stay right there. Open up and say,
Beakman's World will be right back. And now, back to Beakman's World.
Get your mojo working. It's time to hijack your head. Here he is, the bandito bravado, the pistolero of the picturesque, the Marvin Hamlish of the scientific sandwich. The one, the only, the Beakman.
You bunt him? I'll punt him. Let's pigeon wing.
Question. Jeff Snyder of Accident, Maryland asks, Dear Beakman, my brother Jimmy cried all the time when he was a baby. How much does the average baby cry?
It'll take an above-average baby to answer your question. Oh, Lester.
The average baby cries for a total of 2 hours and 13 minutes a day.
Fast fact. The ferocious, flesh-eating piranha has teeth so sharp, the Amazonian Indians use those teeth as scissors. Oh, ouch! Moving on!
Here's a question from Julia Rome of Edgar, Wisconsin. Dear Beaky, when I had a sore throat, my mom called it strep. What does that mean?
Ooh, a medical question. This calls for a Beakman family home movie.
You and your health.
My, Beakman. That throat sounds pretty painful.
It is.
Let's have a look, shall we?
No way, Doc. You're not putting that stick covered with pocket fuzz in my mouth.
His tonsils and throat are red and swollen. And he has pocket fuzz in his mouth. His lymph nodes are swollen too.
Not my lymph nodes. What's a lymph node?
We have little lumps we call nodes all over our bodies. When they're helping to fight infections, they can swell up. I see you also have a fever. Let's see what's causing that infection.
Where are you gonna stick that?
Open wide and say ah. Some doctors would send your speck of spit out to a lab where technicians could study it under a microscope. But me, I like this quick test. The plus sign here on the test shows me that you have acute streptococcal pharyngitis.
I want a second opinion.
All right? You dress funny. And he still has acute streptococcal pharyngitis. Some people call it strep throat. If you don't take any medicine, you could be one sick puppy. But a kind of medicine called an antibiotic will have your throat back on its feet in no time.
Oh, antibiotic? I don't want a shot.
And he's not getting one. But you are getting these pills, and you need to take them all, even after you're feeling better. That way, we'll make sure the infection is completely gone.
Okay, Doc. Thanks.
You don't have to thank me. Just say ah. Next.
Coming up next, you can't see air, but you can wait. Beakman will make the air apparent. It's a gas, so don't go away.
Beakman's World must now take a beat. And now, back to Beakman's World.
My brain is running on empty. Fuel it with a question, Phoebe.
Here is a high-octane letter, Beakman. George Melton of West Newton, Pennsylvania, wants to know, how much does air weigh?
How much does air weigh? Where do they get these questions? Listen, George, air is a gas. Can you see a gas? Can you hold a gas? Can you hear a gas? Ooh. Well, you can hear a gas, but you can't weigh it.
George, don't listen to anything that came out of Lester's mouth.
Or any other part of his body.
Although you can't see air, it's definitely stuff. And if it's stuff...
It can be weighed.
I'm open, Ray. Pass me the ball.
Oh, Ray, my mouth is open. Pass me a cheese ball.
Cheesy.
Ugh. I hold in my hands a round brown leather ball about 30 inches in circumference.
Known in non-nerd circles as a basketball.
Yes, thank you. Let's see how much it weighs.
It weighs 604 grams.
Fascinating. And yet, I find myself craving another cheese ball.
As you can see, It doesn't dribble very well.
Unlike some other big round thing around here.
Oh, yeah.
That's cause there isn't very much air in the ball. But if we pump it up, the air inside gets denser.
Oh! There's more air in the same amount of space.
Right! There! It's full of air. Now let's see what it weighs.
Now it weighs 608 grams. It's 4 grams heavier.
Same basketball, same scale. What's the diff?
Oh, well, we added 4 grams of air to the ball, so air does weigh something.
She shoots! She scores!
He shoots! Oh, he really lucks out.
Bonus gas fact, different gases have different densities.
If you're going to do any of our experiments, do them exactly the way we do them. Don't change a thing. And do them with the help of a grown-up. Quit picking at that!
Behold, the shopping bag balance. Phoebe, please look inside them and tell us what's in them.
Nothing. They're empty.
Please look again. They are not empty.
Oh, the shopping bags aren't empty. They're full of air.
Right! Unlike that head of yours. In this tank is frozen carbon dioxide, or as its close personal friends call it, CO2.
Hey, it looks just like dry ice.
That may be because it is dry ice.
Oh, well, pardonnez-moi, Beaky Joikey. Go, do, impress.
Leave. As dry ice melts, it stops being solid CO2 and becomes the gas CO2. Let's find out which gas is denser, CO2 or air. Behold, a picture of CO2 and the air all around us, both invisible gases, and, like Phoebe and Lester, one is much denser than the other.
He's got you there.
All right, Phoebe, let's see what happens when I pour the CO2 into one of the shopping bags.
Pouring.
CO2 is denser than air, it poured out of the pitcher and down to the bottom of the bag. Bada bing, bada bang.
Bada density bang.
So, what have we learned?
That you can weigh gases, and that different gases have different densities.
Right. Lester?
That I always had the power to go back to Kansas by just tapping my heels together and saying, there's no place like home. There's no place like home.
So, George Melton, who wrote us from West Newton, air can be weighed.
You're darn tootin'. Olivia and Cecily Harris of Ann Arbor, Michigan want to know, is the Dead Sea really dead? Well, Olivia and Cecily, Beakman will bring the Dead Sea to life after this, just for you. So we'll, see you in a minute.
Beakman's World will be right back. And now, back to Beakman's World.
Is the Dead Sea really dead?
I didn't even know it was sick.
The Dead Sea isn't a sea at all. It's a giant lake on the border between Israel and Jordan in the Middle East. It is 1,310 feet below sea level.
And spot on Earth.
It's 9 times as salty as any ocean.
And it's called the Dead Sea because with all that salt, hardly anything can live in it.
But it's not totally dead. It is home to a few plants and a salty species of shrimp.
Well, it's been a whole 3 minutes since my last meal, so if you'll excuse me.
There is no excusing you.
But we will join you for lunch.
All right.
See you next time.
On Beakman's Wild.
You know, Herb, I've been thinking.
Ooh, that's twice in 1 week.
We live at the South Pole.
Uh-huh.
We're a lot closer to South America than to North America.
So?
So shouldn't we be speaking Spanish?
Oh, correcto. Agarra el control remoto y apaga la televisión.
Otra cosa más, Herb?
Buenas noches, Don.
Buenos noches, Don.